Well, thank you all very much for joining us this afternoon. My name is David Hales. I'm the most recent president of College of the Atlantic, and as I stand here and look around at these buildings, I have to share with you, if you don't mind, what I see when I see these. I can see the dreams of every president of this college. Ed Kelber, Judah Swayze, Lou Rabineau realized every one of them would love to stand where I am today, and I'm here only because of their faithful stewardship. And for Steve Katona, today is not only the realization of a dream, it is the fulfillment of his vision. He is one of the essential parents of this accomplishment, and without his leadership, Steve's leadership, we would not be here today. I also see the values of College of the Atlantic represented in these buildings. We are a college of human ecology, and these buildings belong here. First and foremost, they're designed to meet student needs. In 1 week or so, they will begin to do just that, and I expect them to do so for the next century, just as Deering Common and CFOX have for essentially the last century. Second, they're a smart investment in the future of College of the Atlantic. They're as close to sustainable as buildings can be. They will pay for themselves many times over, and they will help us continue to hold down the cost of education for our students. Third, they're consistent with the values that we teach. We teach that smart action and the right action are often the same actions, and these buildings epitomize that truth. They are a major step towards achieving our Declaration of Independence from fossil fuels. They rest gently in this beautiful place. They represent an investment not just in the college, but in our community. In the last year and a half, as this project has gone forward, as our investment has multiplied through our community, this project has contributed more than $14 million to the economy of Hancock County and this island. And finally, they are a vivid demonstration that commitment is the parent of accomplishment. We teach that the opportunity to do the right thing is tantamount to the responsibility to do the right thing. As we look at this wonderful complex today, it is easy to forget just how daunting this challenge was when we were faced with the decision to commit to it. This community, and especially the trustees, faced that challenge. They accepted the responsibility, and today we celebrate the accomplishment. Our celebration today will focus on recognition for those who contributed so much in time and treasure and wisdom to the creation of the Deering Common and the Davis Residential Student Village. And it is my pleasure to recognize Bill Folk, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, to begin our expressions of gratitude. Bill?
Thank you very much, David. They say success has 1,000 parents, and there are a lot of parents around here today who deserve a lot of credit, and there are a lot of people who contributed enormously who are not here, who contributed too. And so, as David says, this is a day of recognition for all the people who contributed. And it is such a thrill to be part of an organization as a volunteer. And I was serving under Sam Hamill's leadership at that time, and Steve Katona, who David mentioned, was the president. And the idea came forward that what would really bring the college something that they've needed for a long time and make a big difference was this residence complex. And then, almost as an afterthought, on a sidetrack, had been going along the Deering Common, the Student Center, and through a kind of a brilliant inspirational flash of, I think it was Millard, but it may have been somebody else, the projects got rolled together. And the way they came out is, you know, I walked in here and the landscaping is just the icing on the cake, and it brought tears to my eyes to see how, you know, a week or two ago it was still people scrambling around. Anyway, I won't go on too much. I have two other things to say. The college has been blessed from the beginning with having a lot of supporters, and there's supporters from the town of Bar Harbor, there are supporters from summer residents, and more recently from people from away, and actually we're really blessed by having a big infusion of international students who have joined us, and many of them will be housed in these dorms, and they're part of the, come from the United World Colleges, which is a, you know, great outfit and has been a huge help to the college. Anyway, now I want to recognize by name some of the people and institutions who have helped, and I will leave out some people. On every donor list, the first donor is anonymous because it begins with A. But then, more seriously, there's Kathryn Davis, and I think we should have a round of applause for Kathryn. We're going to have a special round of applause for every other donor who has reached his or her 100th birthday. But there won't be any today, any additional ones. Right. And then I'd like to recognize Di Spencer representing the Shelby Cullum Davis Foundation and the Davis Family Foundation. And please hold your applause for the rest, since I don't think those are over 100 years old. Bob and Ann Bass, Barbara Danielson, who really took the lead on the Student Center and the Deering Common, the Danielson Foundation, the Deering Foundation, Jim Dyke and Helen Porter, and Helen is a trustee who has taken a special interest in the landscaping, but really in every project of the college. The Gifford Combs family, Rod and Verena Cushman, John Kaufman, who was here, and I hear he made a special trip up from Yarmouth, so thank you. Walter Robinson, Beth Strauss, Dan and Polly Peirce, Dick and Carol Haberman, and Benji and Meetsy Nelson. And the final individual is somebody who was with us a year and a half ago, Alice Eno, but she was very important to the college in so many ways. And we were also lucky and fortunate to have corporate sponsors. I'd like to recognize the Machias Savings Bank and the Bar Harbor Savings and Trust. And now the trustees contributed 100% participation in this project. And I think that was very important. You know, it wasn't a communistic thing from each according to his ability, to each according to his need, but, you know, that was the general idea. And so we were very happy that all the trustees put their shoulder to the wheel and made this project a reality. Those who are here today, and I can't see everybody, but perhaps they could raise their hand when their name is mentioned. Ron Beard, Les Brewer, Father Jim Gower, George Hamilton, Sam Hamill, Lissa Hodder, John Kelly, Phil Kuhnhart, Casey Malincrot, Sarah McDaniel, Steve Milliken, Phil Moriarty, Nina Moriarty, no relation, and Bill Newland, Helen Porter, Tony Robinson, Ev Shorey, Cody Van Heerden, Hank Schmelzer, Jay McNally, Lisa Nitze, Will Thorndike, and Wing Goodell. Now, since we have the main event is, of course, looking at these beautiful buildings and hearing people who really had much more to do with it than I'm going to pass it back to David.
In addition to the trustees and those donors whose names Bill just read, there are literally hundreds of others that we need to thank. I'm not going to read 100, 200, 300 names, but there are some names that deserve to be spoken aloud on this day. We've already mentioned Steve and Susie, and again, thank you both so much for the leadership that you provided. Andy Griffiths is the financial mastermind who really made this possible. When it comes to dealing with high finance, my own skills are exceptionally limited. Andy's, fortunately, are not. But Andy, this also would not have happened without your leadership, and we thank you very much as well. Millard Doherty. Absolutely nothing to add. Sarah Luke, our Dean of Student Life, who was with Millard when the revelation came that we could actually save the old Riles residence sea urchins and turn it into the Deering Common. And it was between the two of them that this deal was truly conceived. Millard saying this may be possible structurally, and Sarah's vision of what students could do with such a space. So Sarah Luke, where are you? Sarah, please. The students of College of the Atlantic, whose names I will read one by one, we're not quite that small. Are also primary architects in this concept, in the process, and have added to it at every stage, both in the campus planning committees, the student life committees, through the ACM, through multiple sessions with the architects. So what you see here is also a representation of student vision, as it should be at College of the Atlantic. The others, I'm not going to stop, and I probably shouldn't have started, Bill. I should have recognized that applause is due only to those who have reached their 101st birthdays. But there are others whose names I do want to briefly mention. Barbara Sassaman, who was the clerk of the works, a COA alum who has kept this wonderful project on schedule. Phil LeClaire, who is the trail driver on this project, and hiring him is the smartest money that the College of the Atlantic has ever spent. Where's Phil? Thank you, Phil. The architects, Coldeman, Hartman, Bruce, and Tom. I know you're here. Tom is here and Bruce is back there. Stuart Brecker, who is the architect for Deering Commons. Stuart, thank you. Sam Copeland, whose work we're standing in the middle of here. Mark Rosenbaum from Energy Smiths, who figured out how to make this the most green possible place that we could possibly afford to build. So Mark, where are you? There's right here. Thank you, Mark. Those who made this possible by working here every day. E.L. Shea, Bartlett Design, Peterson Engineering, Ryan Helwig, professional engineers, Dean and Allen, all of you guys, and all of you who have worked on this site, some of you who have been here every day literally making this happen. Would you all raise your hands so we could recognize you as well? The event today couldn't have happened without the individuals of the Building and Grounds team. And so Bob Nolan, Bruce Tripp, Mike Kelly, Russell Hallway, Charles Farley, Mary Harney, Bob Colson, Howdy Houghton, Brent, Walton, you guys are superstars. Thank you so much for this. And finally, no event happens on a campus without an incredible amount of work to pull it all together and make sure that it does happen. And this one is no exception to that. And the development team at the College of the Atlantic, Lynn Bolger, Laura Johnson, Jennifer Hughes, Tom Edelman, Lynn Berzinis, especially Lynn Berzinis, who is ill today, who is our special events planner, who we all know we could not do one of these things without, and yet she's not here to be able to enjoy it with us today. Rebecca Woods and Diane Clendaniel, the development team. And now it is an even greater pleasure than thanking all of those people, if that is possible, to ask Kathryn Davis to join us and to express her feelings about this project and to let us express our gratitude to you. Please come up, Kathryn.
Oopsie. Well, I thank you all for being so kind to me and for the kind words that David just said. I'm so very proud to have my family involved in this project. I'm also proud to have these residents bear my name. It was over 84 years ago that I moved into a college dormitory at Wellesley College. That was a wonderful event in my life and brought new friends, new ideas, new countries, and new cultures into my worldview. Dormitory life, I believe, is also an important part of an education. For me, the best part of today is that it brings together a bouquet of my loves, such as my family, my beloved Mount Desert Island, education, students, including international students, and the prize-winning, environmentally friendly project which we're looking at this minute, at one of the most environmentally friendly campuses in the entire United States. The College of the Atlantic is setting a fine example for everyone to follow. So I have 2 words to suggest to them. Lead on. Good luck to all of you. Thank you. Now I have to get down.
Kathryn, thank you so much. John Rivers was a trustee when this project started. Was Steve's partner, as well as many other partners, in being a parent to this process. And if Father Jim is here, we're not going to go into the details of how all of that might happen. But John is now serving as the counsel for architect and landscape architecture to the college. He continues to give to us in so many different ways. And John, it's a pleasure to welcome you here to share with us a little of the history and insight into how we got here.
What an inspiring and defining moment this is for the college. It's just an absolute thrill to be here and to look around. As an architect, it's always those moments when you first see people using the buildings that you've designed that are so special. COA has grown incredibly from such a small school starting to a real leader, and day after day we see that in publications and the recognition of what this school has done. So the buildings that we are celebrating today are much more than 50 beds of housing and senior project rooms. They represent a permanence and a leadership and a position amongst your peer institutions that is quite remarkable. They speak to a college that is here to stay, that now the buildings and the campus can match the incredible program that is offered here, that is recognized by so many people. This student village with the Deering Common and with the Davis Housing talks about the campus framework that we spent a long time developing, and really is providing the exclamation point to that campus plan that was developed some time ago. It started in 2000 thanks to Sam Hamill and the board at that time, and Steve Catona and the senior administration. There was a vision for the future of the college, and we set about developing a comprehensive plan. It was a very interactive process, and it involved really everybody in the campus community. And there are a few goals that stood out from that plan that I think you can see represented today. The first was to take advantage of our greatest physical asset, the Atlantic Ocean, and to turn this campus from one which was a series of estates going from Route 3 down to the ocean to one that had a north-south orientation. We wanted to make the campus more pedestrian and bicycle friendly, to get the cars right out of the middle of the campus. We wanted to clarify the organization of the campus. We originally had a plan that the campus center was located up in what is really the academic center of the campus, and it evolved to this plan, and it is much better. It represents really the way the campus is used in a much better way. So thanks to the leadership of many, and especially to Helen Porter, we have done some amazing things that you can't see from right here, but we've completely transformed the vehicular layout of the campus. We have put vehicles near Route 1. We've connected, and this is a wonderful representation of it. Through this complex, we've connected the campus north to south. We've removed, in the process of doing that, the dividing walls that existed between the estates. And in all, the change is just remarkable from north to south, east to west in this campus, and so many people have contributed. In the end, there were some clearly defined zones or districts to the campus, and this housing provides sort of the dot at the end of the housing complex that extends up to Blair Tyson. The academic zone is clear. There was a lot of talk during the whole process about extending the academic activities through all parts of the campus, so we have academic activities from the north border to the south border, but the focus is in the middle. And there are the celebratory spaces where we hold graduation at the north end of the campus. There's so much more to do, and the campus plan will evolve and take form as it responds to the academic program and the direction of this institution. But this project represents such an important point in that process. I just wanted to mention the goals of the project when we started, and the goals really led to everything else and were reinforced throughout. At the time, the student life initiatives were the top priority, and we really wanted to get students on campus 7 days a week and to make a really active campus. And so the goal here was to not build a dormitory, but to build a student village, a place that people from all over the world could come and gather together, a place that would feel like home for all of them. We set a very high bar. The sustainability has been talked about, but we didn't settle for an average solution. We were determined to do absolutely the best in class, and I think we have done that. In the past, we have done all our buildings right, but this is a complex that people from all over the world are going to come to and say, wow, they really did it right. We use the goals to guide the selection of the team. David has introduced the team, but I think it's been an exceptional team. We won't talk much about Millard because he doesn't like that, but every team needs a conductor, somebody to cajole and push and whip when the time is necessary to do that, and Millard has done that. The team worked exceptionally well together, and that doesn't just happen. It takes planning and effort, and this team was exceptional. I think the results speak for themselves. You know, on the behalf of the college, I'm tremendously proud of what we've accomplished here. I think as you walk through the buildings, you will see that firsthand, and there's not much more to say. The buildings speak for themselves. So, thank you, David.
And it is indeed a pleasure to recognize Diana Davis Spencer on behalf, who will speak to us on behalf of the Shelby Cullen Davis Foundation.
Thank you, David. This is a very, very special day on Mount Desert Island, an island full of gems. One, of course, is the College of the Atlantic. This is a college that evolved from local to global, a college whose centerpiece is the environment, and yes, a college where green was in before the world really knew what that meant. I'm sure my parents didn't really know that they were in the forefront of the environmental movement when they insisted that we turn off our lights when we left the room and that we use recycled newspaper for wrapping paper. Later in my married life, my husband carried on this green movement. He hauled 8 cords of wood from our farm in Brookfield, Massachusetts, to Wellesley, where we heat it with a wood oil furnace, rather atypical for suburbia. Then I spent 5 years as an advocate for the Massachusetts bottle bill and went into the State House, and I'm glad to say we did win. So we were all carrying the green flag. It's so exciting to be here today to see this really in the flesh. The Kathryn W. Davis Residence Village, which is truly an international model of sustainable living, using wood fuel pellets and also recycled gray water to make this really sustainable. Hopefully, this will inspire these wonderful COA students to think big and come up with some great ideas and new ideas for energy solutions. Our family is so proud to be connected with the COA, and we're so pleased that David Hales is carrying on this institute to greater heights, continuing its motto, life-changing and world-changing. Thank you all for being here to celebrate.
Now, if I could ask all of the students from College of the Atlantic to join us at the front, please. Everyone, if you paid your tuition. And we're forgiving, so you can be a little in arrears, but if the students would please join us.
How about we have Spencer?
Okay.
We're going to be in front of the podium. Spencer Holden in. Moffett.
Okay.
And his sister.
Ah, Julia. And Spencer, would you hold one end of this tape, and Julia, would you hold the other end? And then, students, if you would line up along that tape. Come on.
Oh yeah, you guys have to come behind that.
Come on and stand. This is all part of that.
Leland Moore.
Hi, Leland. Good to see you too.
Bottled water. We're in
Gentlemen,
trouble.
how are you? What are we looking for?
Scissors.
The scissors.
Right here, right here, right here.
All right. Oh, yes. All right, and Abby Moffett and Diana Spencer and Kathryn Davis will now cut the tape anywhere you want, where the student, you don't have to go all the way down to the middle, but as the students are holding this, let's formally open this wonderful complex. If you cut in between each one, everybody can take one home as a souvenir. There we go. Well, all the speeches are over. I will mention only two things to you and then invite you to walk through and enjoy this wonderful place. If you have questions about the architecture or the engineering, Stuart Brecker and Meredith Rudolph will be at the Deering Common to talk to you about the architecture, the planning, the engineering, the development of that building. And then Tom Hartman and Mark Rosenberg will be right here on this porch, happy to answer questions as well. And all I can say is this is a wonderful day for College of the Atlantic. Thanks to all of you, and thank you very much for coming.
Sweetie, don't you need to say that there'll be individual ribbon cuttings of each at each
Oh,
house? Say that.
should I announce the individual ribbon cuttings? Okay.
They know.
Responsible per person knows, but
Sorry, Bill, I was trying to find out.
Great job.